Say it again.
How tall are you? I'm sorry. How tall are you?
6'4".
Oh, I remember you being quite tall.
Yeah, 6'4".
Quite
6'4".
tall. Wow.
Mm-hmm. What years did you do the Olympia, Quincy?
2005 or 2005, 2007, 2008.
Okay. I knew it was.
I can't remember. I know I got invited to one and I couldn't go because I wasn't healthy at the time. And I did two of them. No, three of them. Yeah, three.
What are your placings at the Olympia?
Never like more than the top 15. You know how they lump everybody together in that 15th place and they just lump us all together. At one point, they don't even take a look at your placing, really.
Yeah.
You got to win a show. You have to win a show for them to pay attention to you once you get to that point.
I saw that you made this extreme jump from 2000 to 2001, where you placed like 8th at the USA and then 1. What happened in that year?
Basically, I decided either I was going to, if I didn't win, I was going to quit. So what I did was that year I started getting ready for the show a year before the show. I started getting ready a whole year before. I started getting everything together, all the supplements, getting everything together a year before I even started getting ready. So because of that, I was determined. And then you have to think about it. That same year, a couple months before, I had gotten 4th at the North American, and I should have won that show. That's the year they gave it to Mike Morris. And Mike Morris, the people that were with me, the people that were in the audience, when I was walking around during before the night show, they thought I had won that show.
Wow.
And I came in shape. I was in shape for that one. And then the USA's came up and I just buckled down another year. And I told myself, I'm going to give this one last try. And I screwed around and turned professional. Because I was pretty much going to leave it alone, but I just went ahead and just said, okay, I'm going to try to do this.
Now, what year was that?
2001.
Okay.
2001, I turned professional at the USA's.
Okay. Wow.
JP, you just finished by then, right?
Just finished by then, yeah. I mean, I went to this one show for contract reasons in 2003 or 4 to keep my contract. But I was done. I was done in '99.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah. No, you were the guy that was huge as hell, and because of him, Flex Magazine had to change all kinds of stuff because he got injured, and his career was headed towards a high road. They screwed his career up with the shit that they had him doing during that photo shoot, and that's what did it.
I memean, yes, it's crazy to do those kind of weights and stuff, absolutely, but it was totally my fault. I mean, I did not even train seriously anymore when I went to that photo shoot. I was kind of like really on the down slope kind of my career. I didn't train seriously. I already had this personal training business with 6 trainers going here in Palm Springs. And I should not even have competed anymore, but for some reason, my contract was constantly renewed, and Joe really, really liked me. So it was always renewed. And then I went to the photo shoot again. And Chris was always kind of used to me doing some crazy stuff in the photo shoot, which was never a problem when I was focusing on the sport, but
dude, I never knew that. You just enlightened the hell out of me, because what I've always thought was that you shouldn't have been doing that, and that's what got you injured. I'm glad you told me that, because I wouldn't have never known. I don't think anyone would ever thought that.
No.
Yeah, no, it was 675. I did squats up to 800, but I just wasn't great anymore. I wasn't focusing anymore. So that's why this happened. If the photo shoot like that, I would have done like 96, 97, 95, 98. They would have done 20 reps without a problem,
Oh, you just enlightened me. You just taught me something, because I had no clue of that one. Because, dude, from looking at those pictures, the way you look,
it doesn't excuse that nobody was thinking about putting the safety rails in. So that made it a very, very tough injury. Would the safety rails be in, I would have, one quad torn and that's it. But then going all the way down and twist it like I did, that made it an injury which never healed.
But I'm still amazed by you, because even after that, you still kept right on rolling and running your business and doing what you're supposed to do, dude. Because a lot of guys, they just disappear from the whole thing. You never see them again, and they don't have nothing to do with nothing. You kept right on rolling, man.
Well, did you ever listen to that stuff when I talked in other interviews, like how happy I was about the accident?
No, man, I never heard that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I was so freakingly done, you know. And when when I didn't want to take steroids anymore. I was just so done. And that was finally the moment which gave me, at least at first, clarity, you know. Okay, that's it. Thank God, you know. And
you sound like the way I sounded when I stopped. I was like, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
It's like, it's kind of like you're in this tunnel of competition, and you'll eat dog shit to keep going. But once you see that light for something, it kind of like I don't care anymore.
That was one side of it, but my biggest worry was totally different. My biggest worry was to stay in the United States, because I was fighting for this for so long, and then I needed that contract, you know, to get my green card and everything going. Otherwise, I would have been done already, you know. At least I hope so in retrospect. But that would, when I went to the lawyer and said, look, can we finish this without the contract? I said, oh, absolutely not. You know, we applied for an E1 visa for people with special abilities, and there's no other claim for you to stay here. So that's what kept me going there at the very end, you know. So but my last show was, I would say, the 98 Olympia, where I was training with my heart. You know, even 99, I just I would have
never thought that, bro.
Yeah.
I'm glad you told me that. I would have never thought that.
Yeah. And I had those moments after 99 where I 2 or 3 months kind of trained a little harder again, but it was not my focus. And you know, you have to have 100% focus 12 months a year.
Once your mind's not there, your mind's not there. Yeah. It's kind of done.
What year did you retire?
Once you start questioning certain things, you know, I mean, I remember when I was younger and somebody died around me because of steroids, you know, I was like, oh, come on, he was weak, you know.
You're right. For me, it was
what year did you retire, Quincy?
Oh, I can't even remember. I can't remember. I know it was right after I did that Arizona Pro.
Well, you did the Phoenix Pro. You did the Phoenix Pro in 2010.
Phoenix Pro, yeah.
So it was
Phoenix Pro. That was the last time I competed.
Okay.
That's what I remember. I don't remember the dates, but I know that was the last time, because I was just done. I was done before that show. I was tired. I was done. And then after that, I had shoulder surgery. But Nasser really, the stuff with Nasser Somebody really got me. And that's what really made me go. I was backstage with him at the Night of Champions once, and I never forget, he had an abscess on his shoulder, and people were talking about him like just horrible shit that they were saying. And I'm like, this guy won the Arnold. He's won so many shows. He's a champion, and they're just talking about him like I'm like, damn, man. And I asked him, dude, why don't you just stop, man? You speak different languages. You're educated. Just do something else. And he just couldn't. And for me, I was terrified of being that. And I got kids, man. I got kids, and I'm a grandfather now 3 times over. So I don't want to go out like that. Yeah. There's ways of going out, but that ain't how I want to do it. You don't get to pick and choose, but with that one, I think you can. And you get so big, sciatic nerve problems, anxiety. I had anxiety. Oh, that last 2 or 3 years, the anxiety was like massively debilitating. And I just got to a place where I was done. I was just done. I started meditating and really started, like he said, like John said, you start asking questions, man.
I got you.
Not about the sport. You start asking questions about yourself.
Here's your 2010 right here.
Yeah, I flattened out like the night before. I look better than I did. I look better there than I did before I got on stage. So when I got on stage, I had flattened out so bad it was ridiculous. Chasing that, trying to get shredded, and lost too much water and flattened out. Like really bad.
And who was coaching you at the time?
Hani.
Hani? Okay.
I think Hani was. Hold on. Let me think.
I know Palumbo's interviewing you here.
Yeah, I looked better the day before than I did at the show. By showtime, I had flattened out really bad. Yeah, I think I was working with Hani at the time.
Okay.
You kind of had everything, kind of, you know.
Yeah, I worked really hard, man. Up until then, I was really obsessed. It was a big, major obsession. It was, well, come on, John, you know.
We all go through that.
you guys know.
We've all
you get
been
obsessed.
there. Yeah.
That obsession is no joke. I had shoulder surgery. I had gotten shoulder surgery, and I'm sitting in my house with my arm going up on the little thing like this every day. And I was getting close to 40. I was 40, and I was just tired. I was like, you know, I've been on this. I've been chasing that muscular vision in my mind from the time I was 12.
Wow.
I started taking steroids when I was 20, 22, 23, and I didn't stop until I was 40 something.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, and then you start thinking, you don't think about it at the time because you're oblivious, but you start to think like, okay, and mind you, I lifted weights from the time I was 12 until I was, for years before I took anything. But still, in order to achieve the goals, you got to go a little bit harder, and you got to take stuff. I just got to a place where I just couldn't do it anymore. I just got tired. I was afraid. It was a fear. Before I wasn't afraid of. You can't be a bodybuilder and have fear of what you're doing. You start having fear, it's kind of over.
I would say in my best years, I not even felt like I was sacrificing. It was just my lifestyle. I went to the gym, I ate, I injected, I slept, you know. Yeah. It was just my lifestyle. There was not even any, in a way, sacrifice, you know, I didn't feel it, you know. But then later in a career, absolutely, like we mentioned, the questions start, and should I really do this? And you know, my goal was, I had this weird goal to win one Mr. Olympia title. I had never the idea of competing for many, many, many years. And once that was gone, I knew I'm not going to win after 99. That was it, you know.
That's exactly how I felt. I'm not going to be Mr. Olympia, and I'm not going to get. And I started asking myself the question: do I really want to win a pro show? Am I willing to pay the price to win it? And the answer I came back with was no. And I also, when Kai Green, the guy's a great bodybuilder. When Kai Green came in, I watched Kai come into the sport, and I was bigger, huge. And a year, 2 years later, he's bigger than I am. And I just did not understand. And when I found out what was really going on, what I wasn't doing that other people were doing, I wasn't willing to pay that price. I'm not willing to take those dosages.
I was never questioning that I'm going to be Mr. Olympia early. I was never questioning that. What I didn't realize is that I have to win now, you know, 95, 6, 7. I didn't realize that. I was like, yeah, those guys are old, you know, Dorian is messed up. Another year or two, I will win, instead of hiring the right people to win right now and push them right there, you know, because you don't know what's happening in 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But the question that I'm going to win, I knew I'm going to win. I was so 100% convinced, and I was so 100% wrong, you know, obviously. So after 99, I knew I'm not going to win anymore. But before that, I had absolutely no question in my mind that I'm going to win.
It's that lifestyle you're talking about right there. You said lifestyle. That's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. You fall into a lifestyle, it becomes your lifestyle, and you actually, I mean, come on, you are kind of living a dream. For me, it was kind of like you living a dream. I get to lift weights. I spent 1 hour doing cardio, another hour lifting weights, and then another hour posing, and another hour cardio at night. That's all I did. It's like a dream come true. You know, so yeah, I'm not going to cry about certain things, because where I came from, I got to see the entire planet. I got to go all over the world. So it's not that I want to cry about it, but the things that I see now, I think that these guys are pushing themselves too hard, but you can't say anything to them. I mean, I wouldn't have listened. Right. I was very stubborn. People told me all kinds of stuff. I was like, I ain't listening to that. Well, that happened to him. It's not going to happen to me.
Well, Quincy, we talk about this a lot on our podcast lately with all these guys dying, and we do autopsies and stuff. In your opinion, what is it? What's killing these guys?
I think the fact that, okay, I think it's just the sign of the times there's more guys doing it. That's number one. Number two, I think it's also the fact that every year after the Olympia, everything shut down for 3 months. Mm-hmm. And that was the time when guys would, like, I watched Ronnie do this. He would get small. He wouldn't lift weights for 3 months after the Olympia, just rest. Mm-hmm. You know, and a lot of guys did that. I learned that from him. I would just rest, just stop. After the Olympia's over, just don't lift weights, don't go to the gym, don't do nothing for 3 months. And these guys aren't doing that because there's so many shows and they want to make that money. And when you're broke and you're trying to move yourself up, they're going to keep competing. And I think you have to let your body, you have to go back to humanity at some point and let your body rest. And it's not just that. These guys are pushing that envelope farther and farther and farther. You know, I wasn't willing, like I said, I wasn't willing to take the dosages that some of these cats were taking. And I was big. And I just was like, when I found out what was happening, I was like, dude, I can't take that much. I was already climbing the walls. I had to smoke a whole lot of grass to keep from slapping everybody.
What was your stage weight and off stage weight?
I came in on stage at like 295, 305.
Then off season, and you were what?
Off season, like 320, 330. I got to 340, and that's when I started having anxiety.
Wow.
Started having anxiety bad, real bad, panic attacks. I didn't know what was going on. I thought I was losing my marble, and the doctor's like, "You're having panic attacks." I had to take Seroquel for like 2 weeks straight, and I started meditating, and I started asking questions, and started really digging in my own head. You know, because before that time, I was so focused on what I was focused on, I didn't think about anything else. I was so focused on competing and training, there was nothing else there, and you neglect certain things. And I would take weekends off to spend with my kids, but you're not all the way there because you're focused on one thing at all time. You're spending 5-6 hours a day. You're not eating, so your brain ain't there. You're eating, but you're not eating carbs. Your brain's not there sometimes. And then the drugs don't really help none because they don't promote rational thinking. But like I said, I don't want to sound like this guy's like down, want to make it look this horrible thing, because it is in some ways. It is in some ways. But at the same time, it took me out of a place that where my life would have been very mundane and boring probably. But maybe right now, I say that now, but who says? I might have shaved 10, 15 years off my life. And people don't want to say that, but and none of the older guys come around to tell the guys that much. None of us, and it's not like I said, they're not going to listen anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very true.
Now, other than, I mean, obviously the gear you were taking and stuff like that, being 6'4", over 300 pounds, how much did you have to eat more than a normal bodybuilder?
I would eat regularly until Hani got a hold of me, and he maybe told me to start eating 7,000 calories a day.
Wow.
Really?
And that's how I got bigger. I got a lot bigger. But the problem was for me, I never felt sick, hurt, movement-wise, none of those things. I always felt pretty good because I did do a lot of cardio. I did cardio year-round. But once you get past 40, you hit 35, 40, the metabolism slows down. Things start changing. You got to do things totally different. And of course, my body ballooned up, ballooned down. I never stayed like one steady good weight. I would get fat. I'd eat garbage. And because you couldn't have it I was on a diet for an entire year. You can't have it for an entire year. So when you do get to have it, you go overboard. You eat a fucking whole pie. You know, then later on, like now, the doctor started telling me you got pre-diabetes. Now I can't have sugar at all, ever.
Wow.
And that's why I've just run. I worry about my sugar intake, carb intake more than anything else. I don't care about lifting weights. Don't get me wrong. I'm still vain. I like to have a flat stomach, but it's not the priority for me. Having huge muscles is not anymore. I eat plenty of protein and vegetables. That's what I eat most of the time. And I try to stay as healthy and check my blood work every 6 months. That's all my concern is at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, trying to smash out the doctor. I got some good doctors and they're like, you're fine. You're healthy as hell. Your body fat's down low, but there's always in the back of your mind, man, what fucking damage did I do to my body? And I have to laugh at it because if I don't laugh, it'll make the terrifying.
Now, getting out of and all you guys can answer this, as you've all been there. Is it hard getting out of that mindset? Like you said, you haven't lifted weight in 2 years. How could you ever imagine when you were in your 30s saying that?
No.
Was that hard? Was that hard to stop?
I was in the gym after I decided I wasn't going to compete anymore, lifting weights just as usual. And I remember I picked up a 50-pound dumbbell and I was curling it and I was doing shoulder raises with it. And I was like, why the fuck am I doing this? What am I doing? I'm not going to do any more shows. It took me 2 years of meditating, chanting in my garage, smoking grass and reading books and to get my head around what I was going to do with the rest of my life. Because I was so focused on that. I had no backdrop, none whatsoever, because I wasn't that smart. And I tell guys all the time, you have to be more intelligent than that. You know, you're not thinking. You got to think about it. But when you're young and you're focused on that, you don't have your body and your mind didn't have energy for anything else.
Right.
At least I didn't. Maybe other people do. Hey, maybe I was not strong enough or whatever it may be. But you know, it's just that way. But as I got older, it took me 2 years of just really digging in my own head. Luckily, I had saved plenty of money, so I could sit for 2 years and I just got my head right and wrap my mind around what are you going to do with the rest of your life? Who are you going to be? You're not the buff guy. You're just a big guy walking around lifting weights. I mean, come on, I'm in the gym training clients all the time now. And I've remember been in the gym several times and I had young guys in there like, and I tell them, they'll start talking. One guy says, "Quincy, what do you think about this?" And I said, "You should try this." And one of the young guys in there, "Who the fuck is that guy? He's no fucking body." And I was like, I looked him right in the eye, smiled at him, said, "You're absolutely right. No fucking body." And I just walked off. But of course, one of the other guys goes and tells him, "Hey, you know, that guy's fucking done this. Look at his pictures. Look at this shit." And after that, they're treating me totally different, but I'm not going to toot my horn. Fuck for it.
Yeah.
I remember you.
Their heavy ass weight. I look at them like they're insane. I'm like, I see them doing it. And I'm like, especially when their form's wrong, their egos are out of control. And I'm like, dude, go ahead, man. I know how I was. No, I'm not gonna. They're not gonna listen. Why say anything? Don't say anything. Just keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, I remember you were one of my first interviews when I first started this podcast, and after your interview, the comments and the people had no idea who you were, bro. And how many movies were you in? Even these guys didn't know that.
2 or 3.
Planet of the
I
Apes.
did more.
What
I
was
did
the other ones?
Be Cool. Be Cool. I was in Be Cool. That was the one I got seen the most in. But I did a bunch of commercials.
Yeah.
I did a ton of commercials. My ex-wife was like, "You gotta go try for these commercials." I did a ton of commercials, and I lived in LA. Yeah. I did tons of them. So that's what I got. I got more famous for that. I got more out of that than I made more money from that than I did out of anything. The way I paid all my bills when I was competing was selling steroids.
Really?
Yeah. That's why, guys.
That's how it is, bro. That's how it is. Okay, because I realized very quickly training that goes in business, there was 2 ways I was going to be able to make money. Okay, either you're going to have a career, you're going to have some type of career, and you got a college degree, and you're good, family's helping you, whatever it may be. Either you're going to play with the gay guys, or you're going to sell steroids. I chose to sell steroids. You know, I chose to sell steroids. I was like, screw it, this is what I'm doing. This is what and I was good at it, and I just kept doing it. I was a fucking walking billboard. It's pretty simple.
Yeah,
that's true.
You know, and guys don't want to hear that. Bodybuilding is an expensive sport. Unless you got some kind of way to pay for all this stuff, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, I worked full time my whole bodybuilding career.
Yeah, see, you got to have a career. You got to have a job, a real career.
Full time throughout my whole career.
Yeah, you had to. I did for years. I was a probation officer. I worked in juvenile hall for 8-9 years. But the thing at work, when I started popping up in magazines, people become really, I don't even know how to just, they would just couldn't believe that was actually me. And people started treating me very different. And some people become jealous and they treat you differently and they try to hurt you just because of the way you're built. Most of you guys you guys are all big guys. So you know how people act. They're intimidated, even though you're not even trying to be intimidating. You're trying to be as nice and as accommodating as possible, but they're still intimidated.
That's true. Yeah.
No matter how nice you are.
Yeah. No, I get that a lot. Yeah. And when they talk to you, you're like, "Oh, you're actually a nice guy." I'm like, "Yeah.
I'm normal, bro." I mean, I like to do the same things you like to do. I'm just because I like lifting weights a little harder. You know what I mean?
You get like that. What's the Shrek syndrome? Everybody thinks you're like Shrek. You know, you think you're this big ogre that's just going to eat them or something like that.
It's like that. So I just got to a place in my own head. I stopped. I fell into the bodybuilder lifestyle. Once I got my first contract, I was done. I just started doing that all the time.
Yeah,
all the time. That's all I did. I was like, I'm just going to train. And you get spoiled with that in some ways because your life becomes training and you can achieve it. That's why I got so much bigger. But if I would have been working the whole time, I'd have had even more money. But I was too lazy for that.
I regret very much that I stopped working so early. You know, I had this mindset that I can't work. I have to focus on this. I mean, I don't even talk about 96, 7, 8. You know, that would be okay to take off from work. But then I had goals to become a lawyer and stuff like that. But I was like, no, you have to kind of focus on this. And I remember I read stuff from Achim Albrecht. I read an interview that you have to kind of just eat and train. It's total garbage. You know, I mean, I could have been Miss Universe, become a pro and have a nice career on the side, you know, instead of just kind of selling shit and what we all did, you know.
100% truth. He's telling the truth there, 190%.
Yeah. And Ronnie did it for a long time and he was very happy and he improved a lot. And the only reason I think he quit as a police officer was he became so busy being Mr. Olympia. Then it's okay, you know, you make plenty of money.
Yeah.
You know? But,
he did that the right way. He did that the right way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it keeps you all those hours. I was just laying around at home and you know, it's just It's just ridiculous, guy. You know,
watching TV, playing video games, wasting time. That's exactly what I did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I've used the excuse I'm too tired to lift weights. I'm too tired to work, bro. I just finished lifting weights, so I'm too tired to do anything else. I'm doing 5 hours of training. I don't got time for nothing else. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You got time. With those drugs floating around in my body, I should have been doing a whole lot more. You can do a whole, because I know if you cut that shit off, then you got an excuse to me. But if you drop around all the drugs I had in my body, I should have been able to do a whole lot more. You walk around feeling like Superman 90% of the time. Nothing hurts. Everything feels good.
Yeah, we lost you there for a second. It's probably getting a call.
And then when I retired, it was very similar to what I heard from Quincy. You know, I was not doing anything for years. I mean, money, I was okay, but so stupid. You know, I mean, I went to Vegas every 4 weeks, partying like a maniac, smoking weed. You know, and I'm still remembering I was. When I became very, very famous in Switzerland. You know, being famous in Switzerland is totally different from being famous in the United States. It's a very small country, and it's a very small group, which are always kind of in the newspapers. And I, as Mr. Universe, I was very, very famous. So I got invitations like being a juror at the Miss Swiss show. It's a really big event in Switzerland, you know, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? I'm not going to waste my time with that crap, you know. You know, instead of building a network, and you know, and it could have been all very important for later. Meeting
you didn't think about it.
Yeah. Oh no way. I have to play Lexington or stuff like that, you know. Or when I was doing guest postings, you know, people picked me up, and I did a lot of them, which it was good. You know, I made a lot of money doing that. But I was, you know, people organize stuff to show you this castle and that, and I was like, no, bring me to the hotel. You know, it's just I was so in my own world, just going from workout to workout. Where I think Nasser, he had it figured out a little better when it came to his early career, not the later career. You know, he enjoyed really traveling around, looking at stuff. But I was no, bring me to the hotel room. You know, it's just yeah, it's a big opportunity wasted. So often when I think of a certain country I went, I do not remember much more than the hotel and the airport. And it could have been done different, you know. Absolutely. And when I coach now, I really try to highlight those things to my athletes. You know, I really try. It can be done. Ronnie did it the right way, you know. I mean, I think the only problem with Ronnie's his career was so long. I mean, there's just no way anybody can get away unharmed. I mean, you compete over like almost 20 years at the Olympia. I mean, that's just crazy with those kind of weights. Yeah, the first one who kind of told me to slow down was our pro chief, Wayne. He told me, it's like, you don't need to put more size on it. Just slow down, you know, take a few months off, you know. But I was like, what is this freak telling me here? He doesn't know anything. But he was exactly right. He was
exactly right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Quincy, are you still the tallest bodybuilder to compete in the Olympia?
I think there might have been a couple. I forgot his name.
Can you guys?
Ralph Muller,
yeah.
Was he over 6'4"?
Ralph was. Yeah, Ralph was. No, Ralph's taller than me. So is Louis. Don't forget, Louis was too. Yeah, Louis was taller than me. I stood next to those cats.
I keep forgetting
about Louis. Yeah, I'm 6'4". Those guys are taller than me, both of them.
Wow. Okay.
Both of them are taller than me. I had the same experience. When I was working on Be Cool, I was supposed to be going to the Arnold, and there was one scene that the director Gary wanted to use me in, and I was like, "Oh no, dude, I can't be here. I got to go to the Olympia. I'm going to Arnold. Anytime I got a show coming up," and I was going to miss out on being on a full-length feature film to do the Arnold. And Gary was like, "Are you fucking stupid? You know, you're going. You're not going anyplace." And everyone around was like, "Are you fucking stupid? Are you crazy?" And I was like, "You can't. No, Quincy, you're being silly. You need to be here and do this film." So I stayed home and did the film. Stayed home. I stayed home, did the film. And I went to the Arnold, but I was sitting in a booth. I didn't work. So I know exactly what he's talking about. There's certain times when it's like, man, you don't think about it till it's over. You don't think about it until you look back on it. He's like, I wasn't thinking right. You could have made so many different connections doing more.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I think we all see that now, looking back. Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to find your movie scene here, Quincy.
There's a lot of guys. The younger guys nowadays, the only thing I tell them, like with my clients, I tell them, when they come in, I tell them, don't do bodybuilding. I always tell them, do the men's physique. It's safer. You got to do less stuff. You don't have to get so big. It's more marketable. You'll make more. You get money still. I tell them do men's classic. I never tell them to do bodybuilding unless they're really. The only time I tell them to do it now is when they're really hardcore and I know that they're determined to do it.
Yeah.
You know, then that's when I go, okay, I'll help you with it. But most of the time,
I wouldn't have made the weight with 18. I can tell you that in classic.
Here comes your scene here. There you are.
Oh yeah, I was throughout that entire film almost.
Yeah.
I had a good time on that. The Dasani water commercial, I did a Dasani water commercial with Rich Piano and made a lot of money on that one.
Wow.
How was Cedric to work with? Was that Cedric there?
Oh, everyone on that set is great people. There was no person on that whole movie that I didn't get along well with. Everyone in that set was very, very good people. There was not one person on that set that I did not like.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great job. It's like you get to go to work and be in a fantasy world. That's all it really is.
Wow.
You know, but a lot of people go, Quincy, why don't you pursue it more? And I'm like, okay, if I would have been gay, I could have pursued it more and probably been in a lot of movies. But I'm straight as they come. And it was going to be very difficult to be in Hollywood and try to make money in movies and not be gay. And when I told people that back years ago, they were like, what the fuck are you talking about? You sound bitter and blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, no. If I was gay, there was a point when I was 32 years old, and I tell people this story all the time. I was 32 years old, I was looking in the mirror in my house. I was in my house, and I was like, God, I wish I was a homosexual. I wish I was a homosexual. My life would be so much more easier and simpler. But I'm not.
I remember at Golds when I was approached to, be in certain movies. Not that I had any talent or any skill to do so. I remember this guy approached me and said, hey, we have something, we want to have you in this movie here, it would be great. I turned around, my friend asked me, what this guy want? I said, that's some fucking gay shit. Absolutely. That's what no interest.
That's what it is. Anytime I had a guy used to come up to me all the time and he'd say, hey, he go, we can do some acting lessons. I said, he wanted me to come to his house for acting lessons. I was like, dude, I'm not, come on, man. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for it's flattering, but I'm not really interested. I'm sorry, leave me alone. It's just like that. But bodybuilding is filled with that kind of stories. Come on, John, I'm pretty sure you had the thing where you were somewhere in your hotel room getting ready for a show and someone would give you a phone call to your room. I did that once and I had to start using other people's names when I would go to a room.
Oh, the gays never bother me. They attack me since I'm 16
I thought they were funny
in my first show. I mean, I was so used to it. There's one guy said to me, it's like, just one massage, I buy you a BMW. I said, look, buddy, it's
a slippery. Hey, that's a slippery slope, man. You go down that slope, you never know. It's literally a slippery slope. You can wind up having some major regrets. Major regrets in your life.
If the guy would ask me now, I'd probably do it for
your ego's been beat down by age and time like mine. I have to really think about it now.
Yeah, you have to get to the point. Yeah, fuck it.
To really think about it now. Yeah, I have to really think. Back then, I was so fucking like hardcore, masculine, aggressive. Kind of, it was like, nah.
I'll tell you that was real big in the 80s, the gay for pay thing at Gold's in Venice, right?
Oh, man, that's big.
When I first arrived out there in 81, Mike Mincer, I knew very well. I got to know him in 78. He told me right away who to look out for and what to avoid. So I listened to him. But I saw it all around me. It was amazing, but never stepped into it, I'm glad I never did. But I ended up working doorman jobs or bouncing jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Venice and Santa Monica. That's how I survived out there.
And I did the same thing.
Yeah, worked in a hotel, Marina Pacific Hotel. Remember that hotel?
Yes. I know exactly where that's at.
Yeah. Yeah, I worked there as well.
I worked at the gate, Los Angeles Melrose for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
How long you been in Vegas?
I was born here, but I came home about 14 years ago.
Oh, okay. Good,
14 years ago, I've been home. Been home ever since. This is my hometown, so I was born and raised here. My whole family's here.
Okay.
Except for 2 of my kids are in Cali. One's in Atlanta, 2 are here.
Okay.
I saw on your website you doing personal training at the Flamingo.
No, it's the Las Vegas Athletic Club. That's one of the locations.
On Flamingo Road. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah. It's like there's like 5 locations. There's them huge monolith gyms. It's
yes,
like
I know them.
So I do them out of those locations because I can hit anywhere in town. I drive my little car, my little cheap gas car, and I just bounce around to different gyms all day. And I'm trying to branch off into internet training. I've done a lot of internet training, but not nowhere near what you've done. You know, I'm like freaking on low level, but I do a lot of low level.
Here's some of your stuff here, man.
Do a lot of internet helping train. I got a few kids I've helped get ready for shows, all different frees. I got a couple bikini girls I'm training now, and a couple of physique girls I'm training now, and one figure. So, but I don't have a lot of clients. I got like a few clients. I'm not really I'm inundated with too many people right now, because most of my clients are, you know, one-on-one in the gym here. And I'm trying to branch out into doing more internet training, you know, because everyone's like, Quincy, you need to do that. You can make a lot more. I did train a couple guys like in overseas that I helped get ready for shows. And it's, you know, when you give them the knowledge one of us has, it's always better than what they have, because, you know, they're going to learn just from your experience. You know, the stuff you got in your head, they don't have a clue about some of those things.
Sure. Let me ask you, Quincy, do you see Tony Pearson out there?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I see him. He goes to a really reclusive private type gym, high end. He's there all the time.
Okay.
And he looks great. He looks great. He looks really good.
Incredible.
Looks really good.
Yeah, incredible. Yeah.
He looks really good. I'll see him in the gym every now and I say hi to him.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, shit. It's a funny story. When I went to Germany, he was there when I went to Germany. We both came there from Vegas at the same time.
Right. Wow.
Great guy. Great guy.
Yeah.
I see him a lot here in the gyms. At that gym particularly, because I go there sometimes with my wife. Mm-hmm. She has a membership there. I stay in LV, Las Vegas Athletic Club. I'm always in all those gyms. I'm bouncing around to all of them, you know, because I go where the clients are going to pay me the money at.
Sure.
Isn't that where doesn't Jay go there to those clubs?
Jay goes to those, and he also goes to the EOSs. The EOSs used to be Gold's gyms.
Okay.
Yeah. They turned them to EOS gyms because they got tired of paying the money, I guess. He goes to Jay will bounce around to that one, and the LVAC and to EOS. At least I think I've seen him many times. And the kids in the gym kind of freak out because they're like, how the fuck does he know you? I'm like,
So in Vegas, you can do independent.
They don't know what I did for a living. They don't know that I was a pro body. They don't have no clue. I was in the Hard Rock here, and The Rock was in there, and he said, "Hey, Quincy, what's happening?" And my kids were freaking out, like, "Dad, how do you know The Rock?" I said, "I was in a movie with him, and he knows all the bodybuilders because his dad was one."
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
You know? Yeah. Those guys know all him, John Batista, all those guys. They when they say my name to me, it freaks me out because I'm like, my people around me like, dude, how does he know the hell you are? Like, those guys know bodybuilders. Those guys know all the pro bodybuilders. Right. They'll walk up to you and say hello to you in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Well, the sad thing is that a lot of the new guys don't know the history of the sport. There's no magazines for one. So how do you learn the history of the sport? They don't
want to know the history, man.
It drives me absolutely crazy. Wow. Hey, Quincy, in Vegas, you can just go from gym to gym, do your independent training, but here in the Coachella Valley, that's not possible. You know, the independent trainers are not allowed anywhere.
Right.
No, here in Vegas at LVA's Las Vegas Athletic Club, you pay $600 a month, and you can train as many people that's all the same. It's all their locations. I can train at all their locations. That's why I went there, because I know the people that run the place and the guys that are in charge. They treat me very well because I've known them since I was young, and so they have like the 2-story gigantic gyms with pools and racquetball and all that shit.
Wow.
You know, they got like 5 or 6 locations here in town spread out across the city, so I can just bounce around. I pay my fee. And that's why I went there, because I went to EOS. The EOS would have been way more money, and you might not be able to stay there, and the equipment doesn't get fixed and it's crowded. But LVAC, it's like it's a mammoth gym out here. It's like it's a health club. It's Las Vegas Athletic Club. It's an athletic club, but they got great equipment. They got everything you need. If you can't get it done there, you ain't getting it done. It's in Nevada, in Las Vegas. LVAC is a beast of gyms. It's the beast of all the gyms.
Mm-hmm.
When you let me put it this way, when you pull up, it's like the parking lot is like a football field. It's huge. It's like one of those. It's just huge. If I could pull up a video, I would, but I'm like, I don't know how to work my phone that great. But their gyms are monstrous.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
upstairs, downstairs, free weight area, machine area, pools, jacuzzi. They got like even the sled area inside the damn places. They got a whole separate women's area just for the women to work out by themselves in those gyms. Then they got a juice bar. They got everything. And all the gyms are pretty much the same. And some are bigger than others, but they just built like a huge new one in Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
What's the general population of Vegas?
Oh yeah, yeah. You're gonna see bodybuilders, regular people, elderly people, overweight. You're gonna see everything. They got more memberships than any place in town, and that's the reason why I love the place.
Yeah. Let me ask you, what's the population of Vegas, general? And do you have any idea?
Oh no, I have no clue. But I know it's gone up because ever since COVID, the price of housing here is through the roof, and it's really people are moving here from all over the country.
I heard that
because of no state tax.
State tax, exactly.
There's no state tax, so people are coming here like crazy, and it's caused the price of housing to just be freaking. It's like double what it was 5, 6 years ago.
Wow.
So there's so many people coming here.
According in 2020, 662,000.
Wow.
In the city of Las Vegas. Yeah, that's 2020. That was 2 years ago.
Wow. So that's gone up.
It's gone up.
With Henderson and all of that stuff around it, it's $1 million. My in-laws moving to Vegas right now as we speak.
Wow. Yeah. Because if they're moving from Cali, they can sell their house and come out here, but the price is going up. The price has gone up on these houses like insane. It's insane. But
you still get twice as much house as you get here in Palm Springs.
Yes, yes, so you will.
Even if it's getting more expensive everywhere, but yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's still better. Still better than LA.
Yeah, absolutely.
California prices are 5 times higher than here.
Yeah, yeah, it's ridiculous out here.
Yeah, it's not going to change. It may change if they change the interest rate, but let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
See, these are things like these I didn't care about when I was competing. Now, as I get older, I care about all kinds of stuff.
There's a lot of things.
I read about investing. I read books. I've probably read 200 or 300 books in the past since I stopped competing. Like maybe 200 or 300 books I've read.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
because I just started reading like crazy because I felt stupid, like I was a fucking idiot. Like I'm like freaking. I feel like, what the hell? You don't know anything. What the hell? You've been like living in a freaking shell all this time.
Yeah.
And I feel like I got hoodwinked or bamboozled in some ways, but that's all your fault. You can't blame anyone else for it. You got to look at yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Make yourself a little bit more intelligent and pay attention to what's going on around you.
Very true.
Yep.
Y'all get caught up in that, though.
Yeah. Have you seen Flex's gym?
We wouldn't do what we did if we didn't get caught up in it.
Mm-hmm.
We wouldn't have done what we did.
I haven't gone to Flex Lewis's gym or Iris's gym. I don't like Iris. I don't go to Iris's gym that much because I just don't know them that well, and I don't. Flex I actually like, but I just haven't gone. I don't go to any other gyms because I look at it like nobody's giving me anything to go there. I'm going to stay where I belong.
I got you.
They give me my breaks over there. They like I said, LVAC, it's a great location. The owners who talk to me, everyone's nice. I love it there. I'm not going to any other place. It's like I've gotten offers to go to different gyms, but I'm like, why? I got 5 locations I can go to at any time. People can call me up and say, can I get a new client? Say, Quincy, what location? If he bounces with my schedule, I'll meet you over there and I'll train you. I know everybody in all the locations, and it's like I'm spread out. I get a good range of people all over the city. So I love the place. And the gyms are huge and they fix stuff quick.
Yeah.
You know? And they're good to me. So it's like, why am I going to go any other place and stay right where I'm at?
Yeah.
A few years ago, I trained a client in Vegas because I was there anyway. He's the makeup artist of J-Lo. And in the middle of the session, Iris joined in. I didn't know they're friends. So I trained Iris and the makeup artist at the same time. So Iris is quite a personality. Oh my God.
I haven't been to their gym. I like Hide, but I just haven't been to the gyms. I tend to stay in my own little world because I'm stuck around. I got a lot of people I see in the gym every day. The staff, the freaking.
But this was at the athletic club, so before they had the gym.
Oh, okay. You're talking about City Athletic Club. City Athletic Club. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one Tony trains at.
Yes.
Because Iris owned a juice bar there. City Athletic Club.
I never the juice bar or supplement store or something like that.
Yeah, she had that in that gym. They shut that place down, and now the owner of that place opened up another place. My old lady goes up. I can't remember the name of it. It's a real high end place. Real high end place. So I pretty much enjoyed that. I've been having fun with just staying where I stay where I'm at because, like I said, I get treated very well. So I just don't go anyplace. I love it there.
Yeah.
You know, when things are going the way you want, you're getting what you want. And shut up and just do what you're supposed to do.
So I guess with the Masters Olympia coming back, you don't have no thoughts of doing that, huh, Quincy?
No, man. There's no way in the world I'm going to start poking myself again.
Yeah.
You know, I don't get me wrong. I still have to take, I take, half a cc of B12 a week. I have to take a 1 cc of enanthate a week to keep my levels normal. And that's all I pretty much care about.
Mm-hmm.
That and my stomach staying flat. Other than that, I'm just like, nah, I'm good, man. I don't have it in. Like John, he was saying, once you lose that eye of the tiger like that fire, it's kind of like you stop. You want to look decent, but you just kind of don't care. Because I don't get it in my head. I'm like, man, I could start lifting weights again and get myself really in shape, get really, really lean and get really shredded looking. But I'm like, dude, do you really want to do that? No, you're already eating nothing but vegetables and protein all day. And you really want to do that? Nah, just keep running.
Hey, I'm so far removed from it. Sometimes I have guys coming to my house or, they're posing and they look fantastic. And I don't even think it looks good. I don't even think you want to look like that. It's just like, especially as we get older, with a few exceptions, it doesn't look right,
Yeah, you said it right. You said it just right. You're right. I look at him, I go, it looks good on you, but that ain't gonna look right on me anymore.
Yeah.
I just want my stomach to stay flat. That's all I care about at this point. And to keep my blood levels right. I'm like, that's more important than anything.
Yeah. So since you're on testosterone replacement therapy for quite a while, like me, do you have any problems ever with your hemoglobin levels?
Of what levels?
The iron levels, because I do.
No, but I had problems with just sugar, and the doctor said I stopped eating red meat for like a year, but I put it back in. Like I only have red meat like once every week or once every 2 or 3 weeks. I eat a lot more salmon, but I had no iron problems. The main problem I had was just the test levels being very low, and I take a round of vitamins all the time. Because one of my doctors explained to me about making sure because you have the 3 drugs in your body, hormones in your body before they turn into testosterone. And he made sure I had that. Once I got that, my body just started acting kind of normal, but I have to take enanthate a half a cc twice a week. Enanthate to keep myself normal, but the only problem I've had is sugar, man. Sugar.
I have to donate blood regularly,
Really?
So yeah, I do because my hemoglobin levels, they go easily over 20. So then the option I had was to come off testosterone. But then I was advised by my doctor, look, then you maybe solved hemoglobin problems, but you create 10 others. So I just...
Cholesterol goes up. Everything changes. Your cholesterol level my cholesterol level went up. And the doctor's like, he looked at my test levels and they were like non-existent. And I was like, because I didn't want to take anything. I didn't take anything for 5 years. So I don't know enough about it. When it comes to that, I just do what they tell me to do. And I go to one guy in town, Ageless Forever, JJ. He's an ex-bodybuilder, and he's a PhD guy, and he's really good. And he deals with a lot of testosterone in town.
There's 2 things I really have to keep an eye on, and it's my hemoglobin, iron levels, and my blood pressure.
What do you do for your blood pressure?
I just try to eat healthy, and I tend to gain too much weight. Then I'm still sometimes around 240 with a little bit too much body fat, and then right away my blood pressure goes into the 140, 150 kind of region. But if I keep the weight down closer to 130, eat healthy, eat a lot of salmon, not a lot of red meat, then my blood pressure is fine.
But it's fucking miserable.
I want to avoid going on medication. What would be the necessary step if I keep my weight up? And,
No, I had to start walking. I started walking as soon as I got home from the gym today, I go outside in the sun and I walk like 2 miles, 3 miles. I'll run, then I'll walk, I'll run, then I'll walk, I'll run, then I walk.
I do the same on the bike 4 times a week.
You know what? I got a stair stepper sitting there. I played video games doing stair stepper for 20 years. I can't do it any fucking more. I hate it. I want to go outside. I want that fucking sunshine. I don't care. I go outside every day. I will walk. The neighbors all know my fucking face. They all know my face now. Instead of me going, I had to go take some money, take some letters to mail off. I walked all the way there. I was like, screw it, I'm going to walk over there. And I run half the time because for me, I had to get my heart rate up. I got to get my heart rate up to keep that stuff off. And I'll go like days without eating carbs. I'll eat like steamed vegetables and protein. Diabetes runs in my family, and I watched it kill several people. So for me, it's like sheer. It's got nothing to do with me being tough or anything. It's got some sheer terror and fear. It's all fear based. It's all fear based, man. I don't want to die. I don't want them cutting off any limbs, man. I don't want to need anything. I want my blood to keep going. It's like, and I've read, there was a book I read called The Diabetic Code. And the doctor in there basically said, this shit's all preventable. So I just,
absolutely. Yeah.
It's all preventable. Just stop eating that shit.
Quincy, did you have any medical issues when you were competing?
Not a one.
No, nothing.
I got sick once. Right before the USAs, I broke out in hives all over. I had to go to the emergency room at Santa Monica. I had hives all over my body. Don't know what it came from. I think it was the onion powder that I put on my food and made me sick. And they gave me blockers, and that was that. I'd never had any problems with anything, except for, you know, basic bodybuilder stuff like gyno, things like that. You know, I was pretty healthy most of the time, but I've always had asthma and sinus problems like crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, I can imagine when you were over 300, it was really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the asthma's manageable if you just do the cardio and take your medicine. Like I remember when I was with Paul would sit there and he wouldn't take his medicine. I was like, Paul, why you can't breathe, man? And he would take his medicine. I was like, dude, you're too big to be walking around not being able to breathe. You're gonna pass out. It's just that you got to stay on top of it. I'm a nervous kind of overkill kind of, you know, we're all kind of like that, I guess. I'm a little bit overkill, and if they tell me to take these pills every couple hours, I'm just gonna take them. I don't care. You know, I'm gonna ask questions like they wanted to put me on statins for cholesterol, and I was like, no, fuck that. I'm just gonna stop eating this shit. You know, I don't want to take those pills. I'll try to avoid that as much as possible. If I got to stop eating it, I got to stop eating.
Let's do it naturally. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I went to a hypnotherapist. Basically, I went to 3 sessions with a hypnotherapist to get my mind wrapped around not eating like that. The first 3 sessions was about family, parents, to dig into your head. But the last one was about just the 2 big guys in my brain making me eat the way I eat. Eating all the sugar, eating whole bags of chips every day, you know, eating whole pies, stuff like that.
I miss those days.
That's almost
Dude, I used to sit down and eat a whole Marie Callender pie, bro. And now it's like, no, I can't. I don't eat anything. The only sugar I'll get is from like a piece of fruit. That's it.
Yeah.
And I had to make a decision and do it for the rest of my life. And I thought to myself, if you can starve yourself from carbs for weeks and weeks at a time, then you can do that.
Yeah. Ian, what's up, man?
I'm sorry about that, man. I got caught up with something outside. I apologize.
Yeah, Quincy, Ian Harrison. I don't know if you ever met.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Quincy. How are you, sir?
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. We never came across each other, did we, in bodybuilding?
Nuh-uh. I'm trying to think.
When did you start competing as a pro and finish?
I turned pro in 2001.
Oh, that's
I think I stopped. I think I stopped around about 2009 or 8. I can't remember.
Yeah, 10 according to this.
You were after me. I was in and out. I retired in 98.
98? Okay, yeah.
My last show was 98, that's right.
Yeah, 98. I didn't turn pro till 2001. Yeah, I forget the dates because in the back of my mind, I kind of don't want to know.
Yeah, I'm with you. I get that.
This reminds me of how old I'm getting. When I look at my kids and people around, I'm like, this kid used to be a little scrawny, little nothing. Now he's tall as me. I'm like, this makes me feel old as hell. Reminds me of the times that father time standing over my shoulder. It's like, I try not to remember stuff.
I got 4 grandkids, man. I know exactly how you feel. 4 times a granddad.
Yeah, I got 3.
Yeah.
I got 3. I got 3 grandsons.
I'm gonna have grandkids one day.
I got 3 grandkids, man. It's lovely because you get to send them home when you want.
Exactly. That's what's great about it.
My grandson was sitting in my lap. He said, "Pop." He goes, "Pop, why did you have all those muscles?"
I get exactly the same thing.
Why do you have all those muscles, man? I was like, dude, I don't know. I just ate my spinach. And he looks at me like, I got stung by some bees and it just made me swell up like a balloon. It's funny. They don't get it. They don't. The movie one's the one that makes them really laugh. You put that stuff on. You go. He's sitting there looking at them. Look at the movie. Looks at me. Looks at the movie. Looks at me. Looks at me. And he's like, "What are you doing on TV?" I was like, "I don't know, man. It got trapped." You get to live your life over again. You get to see around kids. It's good for you.
And yeah, you have sons, right? How many sons you got, Quincy?
2 sons, 3 daughters.
Any of them in the bodybuilding or anything?
Oh,
like
no.
That?
My son Jamal's finally trying to get rid of all the, all these kids are fat, soft, and spoiled. At least mine are.
No.
At least mine are. I spoiled them.
The generation's different. Yeah.
That's the
I was never home. I was always working, so I spoiled them. To make up for me not being. I wasn't the greatest dad. I was okay, but they said I'm great, but I don't think I was. I didn't do enough the way I should have been doing. I ain't gonna lie. I could have did a lot more. I should have did a lot more, you know, but what does it matter now? Now I try to do as much as I can with the grandkids and be there for them when they need it, you know. But my boys are, but shit, my youngest kid, he called me, he's trying to lose weight now. He got really chubby. And now he calls me up, he's looking at all these magazines, looking at the videos of these figure, and he didn't understand. He's like, Dad, what are you talking about? These guys aren't bodybuilders. These guys are too small. I said, Jamal, they got whole other classifications now. He's like, because he went to all the shows with me when he was a kid. So he knows what they're supposed to look like. He's like, I don't like no bodybuilders. I don't like this. Like, of course, the figure model, physique model, he wants to look like that. I'm like, yeah, of course that's what you want to look like. And that's what you should look like. Instead of being, you know, you don't want to be 35 and be overweight like that. That's unhealthy. You're going to have problems. It runs in your family, both sides. You know, they don't think about this stuff. And a lot of these kids are going to be obese as time goes on. I deal with them in the gym all the time. What blows my mind training people in the gym is the fact that they want to lift weights, they want to look a certain way, but when they feel the pain, they're shocked that they're in pain.
That's so true.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean? You don't realize you're going to be in pain, man? What do you thought it was going to be, a cakewalk?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny sometimes when I'm training people and they get to the end of a set and in my mind I'm thinking, well, if I was doing this set back in the day, I'd be like pushing through at least 4 or 5 more, and then I'd be holding the stretch, then I'd be drop setting. But I almost feel bad asking them to do like 1 more rep, and I don't know what it is. It's like you don't hold people accountable to our standards, I don't think, from what we went through, you know?
Yeah, you don't want to do that to them, but I do it when I see that I give them a chance. If they tell me that's what they want, then I'll do it. But when they're like, I can tell they're not really that serious, I go with the motion with them on some points. But if they're serious about it, I got a few of them, the guys in their 40s, they're some of the guys, they're not playing games. It's the kids that make me sad because they can actually do it.
Yeah.
You know, you got a guy that's in his 40s and 50s, his body's beat up, he's hurt. Those are the guys that push themselves harder than the kids do. They push themselves harder because they come from they have a whole different mindset. You can see the difference in the way people think. These kids are a lot more spoiled and they don't like suffering for nothing. I tell them all the time, I get a kid that wants to compete. I say, hey, man, you know, before we start this process, you know, there's a high level of suffering involved, right? And they look at me and they don't realize until this is really hard. I'm like, yeah, I told you when we started, there's a high level of suffering involved.
Let me say something. That's why my high intensity training, similar to what Dorian Mincer did, doesn't sell.
Oh yeah.
You do a workout a few times and you never see him again.
Yeah.
No, I stopped doing that to them because if you do it's like what you said. If you do that to them, they're not coming back.
Right, and that's what's happened.
They're not going to come back. You have to. I lower it down a lot, and if I see them struggling too much, I'll push them when I see they want to push. There's certain ones I know I'll push because that's what they want. Like when I had a guy come in one day, the first thing he said to me was, "If I'm not sore after I'm done the next day, I'm not happy." I'm like, okay. But there's a lot of them, no, I'll stop them. I want them to be sore, but I don't want them to not be able to move because they can't take it. And I had to really take a deep look at myself because I didn't realize how much of a freaking animal I was with that stuff.
Right.
You know, and most bodybuilders, hardcore guys that go all the way into it, we're animals. Most people are not doing that.
Yeah, that's so true.
Most bodybuilders I train, I always, when I sign somebody up online, if they have the chance to come to California and train with me, I realize pretty quickly very few can really push. So that's how I decide on the training program. There's no point for me to design some kind of heavy duty program if they can't push. And to my surprise, I have bikini girls mostly pushing way harder. Way harder.
The girls are harder than the guys are. Yeah. I will concur with guys.
You know,
I will
guys
concur.
think they train hard, but they don't. But I know if they can push hard, that's fine. Then I design a pump program with more volume, you know. So you can't do something with them they're not made for. You know, you have to embrace the pain. You have to love the pain. If you're not, then just pump and hopefully it will work, you know. Yeah, but some of my bikini girls, they can go till they collapse, you know. It's just like...
Yeah, it's kind of beautiful to watch when you see the girls on that level. It really is. When the girls are on that level and some of the guys aren't, I have 2 females right now, and one in her 40s, and she's a beast. She doesn't complain. She never complains about anything. She just does it. She just goes. Whatever I tell her, she just goes. Just goes. She just does it. She does not care. And I got young guys that are complaining and talk about it's painful. And I'm sitting there looking at them like, okay, you know, then let's lighten the weight. Let's lighten the weight. Well, I'll lighten the weight on. I'm like, let's lighten the weight.
if I send my programs, the ones I did, the heavy duty programs, I get 90% when I send them online. I get 90% or did get 90% the same response. That's not enough for me because, of course, you don't train hard. You know, then let's do 4 sets of each, because I used to do like seven sets for back, 7 different exercises, 1 set each, and I was in pain for days. You know, so if I give out those programs, because I have a discussion with them, you know, everybody tells me that he's an animal and he can push to muscle failure. I send them a program, the one something similar to I did, and the next day is like, that's not enough for me. Of course it's not, you know, I mean.
Because you're not going really heavy like that. You're not holding the muscle and getting that contraction time.
Yep.
You start holding that muscle, getting that contraction time and really squeezing the fuck out of it and acting like you're posing while you're doing the movement. Exactly. Whole different ball game. Whole different ball game. Yeah, it's enough for them when they do it the way you did it, but they're not doing it the way they're hurting, just rushing through it, and they're not doing the full. You know what they're doing. They're not doing like you did. You were hard. You're probably holding that thing and flexing and doing it just like hardcore because you want to feel it. Like you said, you can't train them to have that. They're not going to have that. And
I started with a higher volume training. It took me a few years to really get into that short, intense, heavy duty training. You know, it took some time.
Yeah. I had a young lady that I trained getting ready for bikini. She does not understand how hard she needs to train. So I said, okay, you know what? I just gave up a little bit and I backed away and I said, okay, I'm gonna put her on stage. She said she wants to do a show before she gets out of high school. So I said, okay, we're gonna make sure you go ahead and do the show. We're gonna put you in the show. Because I know once she gets on stage and she sees these other girls, that's what's gonna make her give her a little bit more fire in her belly. You know, it's a process. Something that's not gonna happen like overnight where they can train the way I train. It's gonna take a little bit of time. Some of them pick it up and some of them don't. But the ones that have come in hard already, those are the ones that impress me the most. Because some of them, they want more.
Quincy, you ever thought of targeting like tall bodybuilders or tall competitors?
I would love to because I'm made for that. That's a lot
what I'm
of
saying. You ought to like think about that when you're advertising and stuff like that. Specialize in training for tall. Because I'm 6'4", so I know. And we've talked about some stuff before that you've helped me with my legs and stuff.
Yeah, there's certain movements that you have to do a certain kind of way when you're that height. You know. There's certain moves. Albert Beckles trained me for 2 years, and I learned a lot from Albert about you can't do that, you can't do this, you have to do this, you're too tall for this, and I learned a lot from him, and even Lou Ferrigno told me a few things as well. Louis would tell me, and Louis didn't tell nobody nothing, but he told me a few things. And Louis was like, "Don't do that, do this. Your arms are too long, your legs are too long. You have to do it a certain way."
Yeah, we can't do the same thing that the 5'3" guy's doing over there.
No, you better not. You're going to wind up injuring yourself.
Yeah.
Also, certain machines don't fit you.
Nah, not at all.
Right?
Not at all. Not at all. But I just learned the hard way. You got to just learn it, and people will teach you. But you know, you still got to go through it yourself. You know, John's right. He's right about what he said. Some of these guys have that. They have that anger in them, and they're going to go for it no matter what. And you can pick when I'm training a person one-on-one. I see it as soon as they start going. You can pick up on it immediately. And then it takes a little bit of time for them to really get used to that pain. But the pain's part of the whole thing. If you can't get used to pain, you're not gonna go far in it because you can't get the muscle pads. You got to get past that threshold. I love doing things till failure.
Very much so.
Very
much so.
Yeah. What was that you told me, Phil? Take it to hell's door.
Death's doorstep.
Death's doorstep. There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
And then go in.
Death's doorstep. You need yourself.
Yeah.
Keep your head up. Keep your head up, and keep the breathing passageways open because you might get dizzy.
Yeah. Might happen.
I think that's a common denominator with every really high level bodybuilder that they've all been able to dig deep, really deep. You know, when most people would stop, that's the beginning for us. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're very right. You're very right. I learned that myself. You can't. You got to go past the pain. You know, and it takes a little while, but you got to go past the pain.
Yeah. Well, we're talking about training real quick. What do you came from the mass monsters, Quincy. What are you thinking about the guys now? These Nick Walkers and Rami and all them.
Dude, they're fucking huge. It's impressive. I think it's impressive for them to be able to put the size on that they've been able to put on. It blows my mind that they're that damn big. But you know, in my age, all I think about is what's going to happen after the fact.
Wow. Yeah.
You know, and that's I don't want to take away from what they've done because when I was their age, I wouldn't listen to shit no one had to tell me. You know, but all I think about what happens after. When the lights turn off and the flashing cameras are over and you're alone and your career's over, that's when the problems start.
Yeah. But these guys now, they're under the spotlight. So they're not going to see that right now. They're not going to
Of
think
course.
that way.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I didn't want to see it.
None of us would. Yeah, none of us would have.
Think about it when you think about the difference when Quincy, you mentioned Ronnie taking 3 months off, you know, but I'm sure that's saved him many years of his life, you know.
Yes.
And when you look at Nick now, which I very much admire, who the day after the Olympia, he goes right back at it, you know. So I don't know if it's the right way of doing things, you know. And I mean, also when I hear guys say, look, Chris or Kevin didn't train all year, but that's why they kept their midsection so small, you know. So this is, you have to really think about your approach. And that's really, I admire when they go the next day is pretty much back at it, but it's not the right way of doing things.
That rebound effect really does work. I saw it work I won the Mr. USA's in 2001. And then after the USA's, I took 3 months off. I didn't go to the gym. All I did was walk my dog and don't eat garbage. And 3 months later, I started getting everything together to get ready for my pro debut. And I came on stage. I was damn near 15 pounds heavier than I was at the USA's. Wow. And it's because, you know, that rebound, that rest, you grow when you're resting. And I watched Ronnie do it. I watched Kevin LeGrone do it. I watched Flex Wheeler do it once. I was at a place in LA and I was buying pictures like to put on the wall in my apartment. And this guy's in this expedition yelling at me. And I was like, what the fuck is that? And then the next day I'm in the gym and Flex comes up to me and says, Quincy, why the fuck are you acting like that? It was Kenny. But I didn't recognize him because he was so goddamn small. And then 6 months later, he's freaking huge. And I was like, what are these guys doing? And when I started really learning, I was like, oh, you have to let your receptors rest.
Yeah.
If you keep that shit, keep pounding that shit, you got to come back to reality at some point, and you got to give your system time to rest.
Right.
And you'll go a lot longer.
Absolutely.
You'll go a lot longer. You can go longer, especially getting your blood work, getting everything checked. I still think there's a price to be paid like everything else, but you can stretch it out a whole lot longer. But I think these guys they're going to have major health problems if they don't take the time off and really rest. Not to mention just the wear and tear on your family and people around you. Because come on, like I said, I didn't spend enough time with my kids the way I needed to. You know, mentally, I wasn't there sometimes because I was so damn hungry and gone in the head. You know, but the thing is that, you know, you can't cry about it now because that's what paid for it. That's what paid for the private school, you know?
Right.
Yeah. But at the same time, I think that we're going to see a lot more guys doing that, falling over, keeling over until someone addresses it. Because like I said earlier, 3 months after the Olympia was over, 3 months, everything shut down. There were no shows. But that gives everyone time to sit around for 3 months and just really let their bodies relax.
Rest. Exactly.
Yeah. And you need that. And you'll come back stronger. You'll come back bigger and stronger afterwards. But if you don't let that happen, it's going to be negative. It's going to turn out very negative.
Now, did you choose to kind of end your acting, or did it just kind of fizzle out?
Just kind of fizzled out. I wasn't going to be in Hollywood trying to keep going on auditions and kissing people's asses. I was a little bit wild and crazy for that. I couldn't do it. And I didn't want to base my life on auditions, man, because that shit's so up and down. You don't know if you're going to get a job. I remember with the commercials, I might have gone on 55. You go on five commercials, 6, 7 commercials, you get one job. So you don't know which one you're going to get. And it's all according to what somebody else wants. You don't really know. It depends on what the director wants. You might get picked. I remember I'd always have discussions with Jay about it because Jay would always make fun of me and mess with me because I went on auditions he went on and I got the job and he didn't. And I was like, well, Jay, fuck, I got to beat you somewhere. Can't beat you in shit else.
Yeah. Yeah, at least, give me this.
Else,
give me something, man.
I got to better beat you at something. Everything else in life is kicking my ass. What the hell? Come on now, man.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you, a good commercial, a nationwide commercial.
That pays good.
Commercial. Lots
that
of money,
pays real good. Yeah.
Don Long did a commercial for, it was a caffeine pill. Years ago. Made a tremendous amount of money. Nationwide. It went nationwide.
Yeah, every time they show it, you're making money.
That's what I heard.
I'm still getting checks from Be Cool. They're not much, but I'm still getting checks from Be Cool. I'm still getting checks from Be Cool. And I'm still getting checks from the Dasani water commercial I did. I did a Subway commercial. I think they aired that in Canada or somewhere like that. I still get it. I've got checks from those for a long time. That residual income is always good, but the movie stuff is excellent.
Wow. I don't know if I asked you last time, but how was Mark Wahlberg? Did you interact with him?
I didn't like him very much.
No. Yeah.
The guy, he's one of those guys. If you speak to him, you might get fired.
I've heard that about him.
Oh, really?
All you got to do is say. I would say something to celebrities like that. I was around them in LA, so I was around so many, and we were in the gym with them. So my brain got to a place where it's like, I love your work, and I get the hell away from them.
Mm-hmm.
But Mark Wahlberg was one of those guys. You could say something to him, he wouldn't acknowledge you. You just want. Michael Clark Duncan really impressed me on Planet of the Apes because he was the biggest jerk I've ever met.
Really?
Wow. Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, oh yeah. He was mean, man. I didn't like him at all. I avoided him every time I saw him.
Do you know if he has a bodybuilding background and what's with him?
Michael Clark, who's that?
Michael Duncan Clark, right?
Nah, he passed away, but what it was is he just was a big guy. He was Bruce Willis's bodyguard. That's how he got started working.
I didn't know that. Okay.
He was Bruce Willis's bodyguard. You pay attention in Friday, he was in Friday as well.
Okay.
Oh, I didn't know
He's
that.
one of the guys with Debo.
Huh.
That guy Sonny Liston played Debo in Friday. I met him many times in LA, and I've talked to him many times, and that guy was crazy as hell. That he really acted like that character. He thought he was nuts. He was a bit much. The fucking guy threatened me. He threatened me one time. Threatened to beat me up one time in the gym.
Really?
He threatened to beat me up. Yeah. He wanted some Anadrol, and I was like, dude, I don't know what the fuck. He just walked up to me, asked me for Anadrol. I was like, dude, what the hell, man? I can't get no Anadrol for you. And he goes, Quincy, just give me some Anadrol. I was like, I knew him because I knew him from Long Beach, because I went to Long Beach City College. I went to Cal State LA, Long Beach City College, and so did he. And he goes, what did he say to me? He goes, just get it from so. I said, okay, fuck it. I'll give it to him. I got it from him, took it out of my own collection, and gave it to him. Then he comes back talking about, man, this stuff is no fucking good. I was like, dude, I didn't even ask you for no money. I just gave that shit to you because you kept bitching at me and you wanted it so bad. And he's like, he got violent, wanted money from me, and I had to tell him, dude, you need to calm down, man. And I was a ghost in business. I never forget, and that's why I carry a gun where I go. And he didn't know. See, he didn't know I carried a pistol till one of the other guys told him, man, Quincy carries a gun everywhere he goes, man. Don't worry about it. He'll shoot your big ass. I'm like, yeah, I will shoot your big ass. You're too big to play that. That guy was huge. He was like a fucking bear. I was like, dude, I will shoot your big ass. Don't run up on me talking crazy. I gave it to you for free.
Wow.
What do you want? Money? For some free shit I gave you? Fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's funny.
Let's see all kinds of stuff that goes in Venice, man. Let's see all kinds of stuff.
Absolutely.
I love it there.
Did you live there for a while, Quincy?
Oh yeah, I trained at Goes in Venice for like 7-8 years, man. I loved it there. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
During my 20s,
I liked visiting, but I couldn't live there. There's no way I could have lived there.
Nah, now it's so different now. Probably because I don't think it's that different. I think I'm different. I just can't. It's
well, I can tell you, Quincy, it's different. There's no bodybuilders there any longer. Most of them have gone.
Yeah, they're over in Dubai and the Arab countries because you get all the stuff you want for nothing.
It's all Instagram people there now. That's all it is.
Yeah, pretty much. There's no bodybuilders left.
Yeah, I had
the homeless camp in the back. Yeah.
I went there and I couldn't. The kid charged me $30 to go in. I'm like, dude, one of my pictures are on the fucking wall in there. And he's like, you didn't care. And I was like, you know what? Just here's the $30. And after that, I said, I'm never coming back again.
Yeah, we're at 45 now, I believe.
Yeah, it is 45.
Yeah.
Is it 45 for a day pass?
A day pass.
Holy shit.
Whoa, shit.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's gone totally commercial with that stuff. And I just can't.
It has.
How about Muscle Beach? What's it cost?
It's $5 now.
Oh, okay.
Sounds about right.
They just started.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. I know Joe Wheatley, who runs the shows in Venice, 3 shows a year. He's a good friend of mine. I usually go. I'm in the Venice Beach Hall of Fame, and it's $5 per workout.
Joe Wheatley's a great guy. Joe Wheatley's a great guy.
Great guy. Good friend.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Yeah, he treated me very well when I went there many a time for the shows he puts on.
Yeah.
They gave him hell with those shows.
He's got one coming up in May I'm going to go to. I got an invitation to.
Yeah, he puts on a good show there. They're very nice. They're fun.
Yeah, they are. They're a lot of fun.
How's what's his name? The one that had the heart replaced. He's out there a lot.
CT Fletcher.
CT Fletcher. Yeah, you ever see him?
I've never seen him before.
No, he's been quiet lately. He hasn't been posting a lot of stuff on Instagram.
You have a heart attack. He brings you back.
He had a heart transplant. Yeah, he had a heart transplant. He was on the list for a while, and he finally got it.
Wow.
He's got his own gym over there in LA somewhere, I think.
Well, LA can support a lot of gyms, man. It's like there's so much space out there and so many people. You can make a living from a gym there.
Yeah, he has a contest there at Muscle Beach, arm curling contest.
That's right.
Every year, that strict curl.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah. But it's during the whole time. There's a whole events. Oh, there's a bodybuilding show. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah, it's Joe Wheatley's Muscle Beach Venice Classic.
Maybe that's Okay, so it's all.
He's doing it on the 4th of July and July and what was it?
Labor Day and Memorial Day.
Yeah. He did some big shows. I like those shows. I went to a lot of them. I remember when I was in I think it was 98. I did the Mr. California, and I lost to Rich Piana. I got pissed off, and I walked off the back of the stage, and I chucked my trophy up into the rafters. I took that trophy and threw it way up into way up in the top of the thing. And then there's this one gay cat that worked backstage, and he was in the gym all the time, and he was really cool, and I was always friendly with him. I got along really well with him. And so I go to Joe's show, went to Joe's show. I'm at Joe's show, and he walks up to me. He's like, Quincy, here's a little plaque from your trophy. I'm like, the fuck are you doing with this? He said, dude, if they'd have found this, they were going to suspend your ass for 2 years. you can't be acting like that at shows. What the fuck is wrong with you? I said, I snapped, bro. And he's like, here, take this and hide it. So I wouldn't let them suspend you. You're the only one nice to me. You're the only one of these guys that's really nice to me. And I was like, oh shit. Thank God my mom taught me to be good to everybody.
Well, other than that incident with Rich, did you know him? Did you see him much?
Rich was a pain in the Rich had a sad relationship. That's what I can call it.
Okay.
Rich was kind of a jerk sometimes, man. Rich didn't like anybody bigger than him, man. Rich would come up. Rich beat me at the Mr. California in '98. He also beat me at the Mr. USA. And every time Rich saw me, he made it a point to say how he beat me.
Sure.
And every time he would say that, I'd say, yeah, Rich, you remember how I turned pro and you didn't? And then after that, he didn't want to talk no more.
I bet.
Oh, that is funny.
His ego was something else, man.
Yeah.
His ego was something else. His ego was out of control. I was like, Rich, man, I saw him at the USA's like 4 or 5 years before he passed. I said, Rich, man, you're pushing that shit kind of hard, man. Maybe you think you might want to bring that kind of down. You're getting 40 plus now. I know your age. You're the same age as me, bro. Maybe you need to, come down a little bit from that. And Rich looked at me and said, you're just mad because I'm bigger than you. And I was like, no, that casket's not going to be able to hold you if you're getting bigger.
Mm-hmm.
The guys around us were like looking at us like they thought we were going to fight. I was like, I'm not going to fight with him. I don't fight. I'm too old to fight. I'm getting the fuck away from me before he hurts me.
Yeah.
He's too big to be fighting with. Look, that guy's like a beast.
Mm-hmm.
My muscles aren't swollen and buffed up anymore like that, man. I'm getting away from this guy before he hurts me.
Shit. Huh. Yeah, we did his autopsy on here. I don't think it was that bad. I remember the doctor went over.
How did he pass?
Actually, it was kind of like a pneumonia thing. He was septic.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I don't know if they actually determined the cause of why he fainted, but I guess when he hit his head and when he went into the coma, he became septic, and basically just his organs just failed.
Okay. Yeah, Rich was a wild cat, man.
Yeah, I think that I remember the doc saying that he was about to go into liver failure. He was pretty close to it. So the worst one we did, bro, was Dallas McCarver's. His autopsy was really bad.
So his heart's like almost a kilo, huh? His heart.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Really?
His organs were huge.
Crazy.
Yeah.
He was doing what the hell was that growth? I think that would be some damn just big. He looked huge, bro. He looked like he was huge when I saw him. I was like, God damn. But the thing is, man, you can't. There's a price to be paid. Yeah. There's no way around it. The guys back in the 90s, I think we were kind of aware of it. Some of us were really aware of it. We were doing some drugs, but I mean, not the dosages these cats are doing now. These dosages to me, and I thought I did a lot. These kids are doing like 3 times what I did. 3 times. And when I found that out, I knew I was, looking at the door.
Yeah.
I said, I'm not doing that. I'm already climbing the goddamn walls, having to smoke all that grass to keep from going nutty. And it's like, nah, I think that's enough, man. Because it's not going to make you, it does make you more aggressive. You really got to watch yourself. So you have to stay at home a lot more because you can get yourself into trouble. You'd be too aggressive. At least for me, I know how I am. I'm like, no, I'd rather watch cartoons and smoke a joint and to sit still than to be walking around angry as hell. I don't be walking around. Come on, man. Come on. That's my. I smoked so much grass when I competed. It was ridiculous. Just to keep everything, you know,
innocence. Yeah.
That edge you have. You're hungry. You're on the edge like this. You got to calm the hell down and sit down somewhere and be nice to everybody. You know, but that shit ain't easy when you're taking, 3 cc's a fucking day or something.
Right. Do you think social media has a lot to do with it?
Yeah, I think it's got a lot of. I think social media is causing a lot of problems with everything in our country right now. With a lot of things, with a lot of people being depressed, and I have like women in their 30s that graduated from college, beautiful college degrees, and making money, 7, 8, 10 grand a month, running their own business, $20,000 a month, and they're making very good money, and they're miserable. And they're miserable. And I believe, and it's social media is changing people's perception because they believe the bullshit that they see on there, and they're thinking that this stuff is all real. I remember Sean Ray years ago. Sean Ray, I love Sean Ray because he's one of the reasons why he became a bodybuilder. I saw him on stage once. And when I was in college, I saw him on stage, and Sean Ray said, I remember Sean Ray told me, he says, "Quincy, you think I own that fucking Corvette in that picture?" Sean would go he'd go and rent a car. He said, "It's all a lie, bro. It's all a lie." He told me that once, and I looked at him, I was like, okay. And I learned the lesson.
Yeah, he did have some fancy cars. Now you mentioned that.
No, he didn't own those cars. Sean was smart. People believe that shit. And then these kids are taking pictures. Like, I see so much stuff. These persons in this hotel room and they're showing this and they're this, that, I'm like, dude, that fucker probably lives with his mom, man. That motherfucker living home with his mama, man. Come on, he don't own it. And if he is, he's spending all his money on this shit. And when he's 35, 40, he's gonna be broke.
That's true. That's very true.
No, you're probably right. You're probably right.
I've seen these cats. Come on, we saw them. We all saw bodybuilders do it. They go out and buy all these cars, and they don't have their house paid off. And then they want to wake up and like, oh, why am I broke? And I need help paying my bills. Okay, come on, man. What are you talking about?
We got like a breath. You like a breath of fresh air, Quincy. I'm telling you that.
Dude, you can't go through the life I've had. I lived in the projects. I grew up in the hood, man. So my mindset's always been like George Jefferson. I don't want to wake up with the roaches. So I've always been like terrified of being broke, man. So it's like you better hide and hoard your money and make sure you have some hid somewhere just in case. But these cats, they just walk around. I see them in the gym. They make fun of me. I have a Toyota Corolla. I drive around all over the city, and I'm like, I'm not driving that Mustang, and I'm not driving the truck. I'm not driving. This thing's gonna get gas. I'm driving a little Corolla around. I don't care how I look at it. But my kids make fun of me, and I got stickers all over for bodybuilding. And I'm like, I don't care. I'm trying to get paid. That's my work. You're gonna scratch my car? Go ahead. Go ahead. The front driveway of the gym, so everybody sees I get more free advertisement. Because it doesn't eat gas. I don't care about any of that stuff anymore. I cared about some of the most stupid shit when I was competing, and then I look back, I was like, "What are you fucking have rocks for brains? What's wrong with you?"
Yeah, I remember.
And that's why when I look at these kids, I don't say anything. I don't say nothing. It's very hard for me. You see, I talk a lot. No one can say I don't talk a lot. It's hard for me to keep my mouth shut when I'm around these kids. But I do. You'll see me. I'll bite my tongue. I'll sit there and bite my lip just to keep my mouth shut because I'm watching. Like one kid, I never forget this kid. He's a pro bodybuilder. He comes into the gym, and one of the trainers that I'm friends with was telling me he's training him. He said this kid won't do any heavy. His legs won't grow, but he won't do any heavy squats. He's using nothing but bands. I'm like, what? What? How's he that damn big? He said, Quincy, he's taking a ton of drugs. The kid only does bands and stuff like that. He won't lift heavy weights and go hardcore. I'm like, my brain just couldn't understand. And I was like, what do you mean he's taking drugs like that? He should be lifting heavy as hell and going hardcore. There's no excuses if you're going to take those dosages, you should go hard. But like John said, you can't teach him to go after that pain. And he's 100. I never thought when he said that, I was like, yeah, he's 100% right. You can't put that in him. That's either in him or it's not in him. Just increase the volume and let it happen.
Yeah.
The car thing, I've got to tell you this story. I remember being at the USA's in, I guess it was near like Santa Monica one year, and NASA was there, and I just retired, so I bet it was 99 or 2000, and Lee Priest pulled up in a full-size Army Hummer.
Yeah, I remember that.
You know how small Lee is, right?
Yeah.
So he gets out of this Hummer and he walks up to me, and I'm like fucking hell, Lee, I like your car. That's pretty cool. He says, yeah, I can't believe they let me. He said, I didn't put any money down. I just signed a piece of paper. I can't believe they let me have it. He says, but they'll take it back soon because I ain't paying them anything for it. I'll never forget it as long as I live. He just didn't give a shit. He just didn't give a shit.
Lee, that sounds like Lee.
He still don't give a shit.
And then I said to him, I said, have you got your green card, Lee? And he just held his hand up and said, that's my green card, a wedding band. He said, that's my green card. He just didn't give a shit. It was so...
You gotta love him. I'll
never forget how he pulled up. And you know how short Lee is. He got out of this full-size Hummer, waddled over to us, and then I started asking him, and he told me that. He said, yeah, I can't believe they gave me it. He said, I just signed a piece of paper.
That sounds like him. He's a wild cat like that.
Oh, yeah.
You can't be around Lee without smiling after a while because the shit that comes out of his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been kicked off Instagram, what, like 5 times now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says whatever he wants, but you gotta love him because the sad part is sometimes he's telling the truth sometimes.
Oh,
yeah. Well, you heard he's making a comeback, right? Or supposedly. We'll see what happens.
Was he in the hospital recently?
I think so.
I saw something like that.
I saw one of Dave's shows that says Lee was hospitalized. But I didn't watch it, so I don't know if it was just a...
Yeah, neither did I, because
like some of
it takes about an hour to get to that.
Clickbait, that's what it's called, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I'm to the place now when I see certain things, I don't want to look at it because I don't want to find out someone else is dead.
Yeah.
It makes me sad, so sometimes I don't wish I didn't have the Instagram because shit goes through my feed. I'm like, fuck, he died?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to know. I mean, back years ago, before the internet and all social media, people die. You didn't know they were dead for 5, 10 years. You never knew. You thought they were still alive.
You never know.
That's like instant. You know they're gone. I'm like, I don't want to know sometimes, man. It's just gonna. I try to get up in the morning. I put my feet on the ground and I'm happy because I'm still walking. Then I force myself to smile to get my ass up and get my day going. And I make sure I smile continuously. I make sure I smile continuously all day long. And when I see stuff like that, it just reminds me of, we're all walking around, death's knocking at the door every damn day, and I don't want to be reminded of it. So I just try to enjoy myself. Can't do shit about it anyway. Might as well enjoy myself.
Yeah.
Rather be happy and smiling than deal with that sadness.
That's right.
I don't like seeing when bodybuilders are going because all it makes me believe is that me, myself, and everyone else involved, we all did the same things. They were just knocking at death's door. But then you got guys like, come on, look at Arnold. He's still walking around. You got guys like Albert's. Albert's almost 90. Like, what the hell? He's still healthy. Some of these guys are living forever and some of them aren't. And you just don't know. You're throwing the dice sometimes.
Yeah.
I think the guys that push it way too hard, too far, too long, it's happening more and more. And it's like, kind of like, wow, okay.
Where do you think bodybuilding's going? Do you think we're going to still see the Ramis, or are we going to get back to flex?
I don't know. I like the way Rami looks because you can't go against the fact that I like the symmetry. I like the look of flex. I like the look. I think it's beautiful. But at the same time, not everybody can do that. But a guy can train himself to get himself so goddamn big that the symmetry don't matter. It looks kind of crazy, but I mean, isn't it called bodybuilding? So being big matters. But I don't know if I don't like the way it looks 100%, but I get what you tell a guy he's pro and his symmetry is not that great, but because of that, he can't go any farther. He's just there. So only the guys with the great genetics can go any farther. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it because it's like I can't. It's this decision to be made by someone way more intelligent than I am, and I can't say that. I like the symmetry lines. I love it when it's more beautiful and aesthetic than anything. But you got to give credit. It's like with Palumbo. Palumbo put that video of him up today on RX Muscle, and I think that year when he was in Dallas, he should have turned pro. That year in Dallas, he should have turned pro. And I was when he did get his pro card, I left and I was pissed off because Dave looked like a fucking freakazoid, man. A fucking monster. And I think he should have got his pro card, but they didn't give it to him because obviously they didn't like the way he looked or whatever it was. But I thought it was like, how can you take that away from a person that's put that much work and dedication into it? Is it about the work and the dedication, or is it just about the genetics? Which one is it? When bodybuilding's been teeter-totter in between both of those for a very long time.
Or was there politics involved back then?
There's always politics involved in bodybuilding. There's no such thing.
Right.
Oh,
It's in everything. And people say it's this, that, and I was under the assumption when I was competing, if you work really hard, you can make it happen, but that's not true. There's some politics involved.
Always. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
There's politics involved, but what are you gonna do? Cry about it? Mm-hmm. I can't cry. I'm freaking like I grew up in fucking projects, and I'm running. I got to go to Hong Kong, Japan, Thailand. I've been all over the fucking world. Mm-hmm. People still care about what the hell I got to say half the time. Mm-hmm. So I can't scream. I can't say anything. I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out.
Yeah.
Were you a big diuretic user, Quincy?
No, the only diuretic I ever used, and I see these kids. Only diuretic I ever used. I used 2 diuretics my entire career: aldactone and Diazide. That was it. I never used anything else. Okay. Aldactone and Diazide. I saw a kid at the North Americans, my very first North Americans that I did. The show was over. The guy wasn't going to win. None of us were going to win that day. He did Lasix that night, before the night show. Ambulance had to come get his ass. I'm sitting there watching this, and I was like, okay, don't take fucking Lasix ever. Mm-hmm. And I stayed away from Lasix my entire career because I was just, like I said, I'm one of those guys, if I see something that doesn't make sense, I don't, if it's scary, I'm not going to be doing it. I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous.
Do you think they're needed?
I don't think Lasix is needed, but I think you need some type of diuretics because you will achieve more hardness, more leanness, more cutness with the diuretics. You will, period. But I think that people need to really educate themselves on this 10 times more. I mean, come on, if you take diuretics, you drink 2 gallons of water a day. At least that's what I did. Mm-hmm. I drank even more water when I was taking diuretics. But people have different ways of doing it. I don't know how everyone does it, but that's the way I did it. And my way may not be the best way. I don't know. But the way I was taught is you do more water when you're taking diuretics. And so you get even harder. And they do work. Yeah. But I don't know. You can't regulate behavior with people like that. When you tell a person they shouldn't do this, you tell a bunch of guys they can't do it, they're going to do it anyways because they think they're going to win.
Right.
They're willing to take that risk because they're young and they don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can't regulate it. How are you going to regulate? You're going to start testing everybody? How long is that going to last? No one wants to pay for that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the things we talk about on here is debate is how, if that would change and what the effects would be and all that stuff. So
the culture, the only way it's going to change unless the bodybuilders themselves start really educating them. I think education about those drugs is the best way. People need to really know, but I still think it's still iffy. You still can make yourself kill yourself. You still could, but you can't stop people from doing what they want to do. It's not going to happen. Mm-hmm. At least I don't believe it can happen unless you just get rid of the whole thing. And no, I don't think that'll work either. It's just, you can't regulate that kind of thing. It's like people trying to regulate human behavior. You're not going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, look, it's been tried before. And when you really look at the history, the only times I think guys didn't take diuretics was 96, 97. 98, they still had tests, but then they already figured a way around it. So, and you could see a little bit of a difference in 96, 97. People were a little bit more watery, so diuretics absolutely worked. In my case, diuretics never affected me. My best shape was without diuretics in 97.
Really?
And yeah, I was totally without diuretics because I would never have known how to get around the diuretic test. And when I did diuretics, that was during a European tour, I was so watery that diuretics didn't really affect me, I had so much water in me. And before 96, I was so long without salt, misguidedly, that the diuretics didn't work. So diuretics didn't do anything for me, and my best shape was without diuretics. Mm. So I believe if they would really, strictly test again, people would just find out ways around it, like 98, we all know that Chad had a diuretic for his athletes. They just couldn't detect it. We all know that Ronnie had major cramps and there were diuretic tests. So it didn't really, in that sense, do anything to help bodybuilding. So, it's just probably better to educate people and not test it at all,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the education, I think that's the problem. Is just really, because some of the trainers, they won't, like, when I worked with Hani, there were certain drugs Hani put me on, and he didn't tell me until we got to a place where he had to tell me what this stuff really did. And I was too stupid. I didn't ask. But the bodybuilders themselves have to educate themselves on this stuff. You can't, certain things, especially stuff like that, you really need to know what the fuck you're doing yourself. Mm-hmm. You really need to learn. Oh, you got to hire someone that really does know, but it's like you don't know. The trainer may not know what this person's doing over here on the side, mm-hmm. And a lot of these guys, they're uneducated about that stuff. I learned from some of the guys that were around me, and they told me, do not take potassium if you're taking that shit. Right. Your heart will potassium. That's not making mess your heart up. And that right there was all someone had to tell me. And I read a couple books on it. I read the stuff, the medical guides about how to use it. But I was always like that. You know, Teeper, me and Lonnie Teeper, I've known Lonnie Teeper since I was in college. He was my college weight room professor at Cal State LA. And he gave me a job in the weight room at Cal State Los Angeles. When I was young, I was broke, so he gave me a job. And he had these thugs coming in all the time, so he stuck me in there. But anyway, he said he thought I was this great student because I'm sitting there reading all these books. They were all steroid books. They were all steroid books. Lonnie's like, I thought you were this freaking great student. You're sitting there reading all these steroid books. He said, damn, come on, Quincy, what the hell? I was like, dude, I want to know about what I'm taking. I had a guy give me some Cypionate once. Guy gave me Cypionate. When I first took my first cycle with some Cypionate, guy gave me some Cypionate. I took it. And my nipple felt like someone had took it and peeled the skin off my nipple. And I called him up and I said, hey, man, what the fuck? He's like, he laughed in my face. And from that point on, it's my responsibility.
Yeah.
Not his, no one else's. I fuck him, fuck everyone I want to know. So I started really educating myself. And education is the only thing that's really going to make these guys, people learn what this stuff really is doing. You know, you gotta sit down and really read about it. Most of these guys aren't going to read things; they're just going to go online.
Yeah.
Either, if you're not going to read about it yourself, then hire someone who does know.
Oh shoot, you can go on YouTube now and learn everything. Yeah,
and then you wind up injured. You know how many kids I get in the gym? They saw this on YouTube and they're injured and their back's destroyed, and I got to help them learn how to do squats all over again. Tell them what to do to make their back stronger. Have them doing hyperextensions to try to strengthen the lower muscles in their back because they've destroyed their spine. And I'm like, dude, who told you to do this? Well, I saw so-and-so do it. You're not fucking him. That fucking guy's on a lot of drugs. You're on nothing. He's been doing this shit for 10 years. You've been doing this for 2 weeks. What are you doing? What are you doing? You stupid? You trying to injure yourself? Well, I saw so-and-so do it. I'm like, dude, come on, man. You don't know if the weights were even real. The weights might not even been real on that shit. I got pictures of me doing 500-pound deadlifts, 800-pound deadlifts. That fucking plates aren't real. And they look at me and they're like, oh, I didn't think of that. No, you didn't think of that. Come on. Fucking video, man. Come on. I'm glad we didn't have this stuff when we were younger because I probably would have hurt myself being stupid. Yeah. You know, it's something that the education needs to change on it. That's what I think John's right. I think that's the only way to fix it. Everyone's got to start they got to become way more responsible with reading literature about the diuretics and really learning about them. Because a trainer can tell someone to do this, do that, and you have no clue how many times I've had guys and I say, dude, only take one of these a week, and motherfucker's taking 3 because he saw the shit on YouTube. Yeah. I'm like, dude, who told you to do that shit? Don't fucking do that shit. What the fuck are you doing? And you can't say anything.
I remember when back to Rich Piana when he posted his cycle online and everybody started following it. I was like, oh my God, you guys are so stupid. Yeah,
Rich has been taking drugs for 20 years, and his body may be able to handle that cycle, but your body can't.
Yeah.
I had a kid. I never 2-3 years ago, I had a kid talking about, well, Rich Piana did. I said, you're listening to the guy who's passed away. He obviously didn't know what the fuck he was doing. Don't listen to the guy listen to the guy who's 90 that's been doing this for years. Or better yet, listen to the guy that's got a PhD degree on this, or the guy that's actually trained hundreds and hundreds of people who's actually been successful. Listen to that guy. Or the guy with the PhD on his name. Let's try listening to that guy. Maybe listen to that guy.
True. True. Very good. All right, bro. Well, before we go, Quincy, how do guys get a hold of you if they want to train? What's the best way?
You can get me on quincy.monster on Instagram, or myteqt at AOL.com, or myqt1 @gmail.com, or just better yet, like I said, quincy.monster on my Instagram. Okay. That's the easiest one to remember, quincy.monster.
All right. And you're taking clients now and stuff, right?
Internet clients like crazy. I've got like 4 or 5 right now. I want like 50.
Okay. All right. Well, get the word out there, hopefully.
I appreciate all you guys, and thank you very much for having me.
Yeah.
Sorry for talking so damn much because I got a big mouth.
This was fun. This was fun.
No, this was fun,
I love to listen to you.
It's refreshing, man.
I got a big mouth, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's all right. Great conversation.
No, we'll do
Yes,
we'll do some more, man. I know it's been a long time since you came on. I keep saying, man, I need to get Quincy back on. So I'd like to have you on some more.
I told
Anytime.
Jason before, if a guest is boring, you can really throw him out after a few minutes, but this is not one of them. I mean, that was great.
No,
Yeah.
no, you keep us on our toes, Quincy. That's
I got some heavy duty opinions. Throw some opinions at me, man.
yeah.
You guys give me some topics. I'll tell you what I really think, and not everybody's going to agree with me.
Okay.
Of course. It is.
That's why it's called an opinion show. It's a podcast.
This is true. This is true.
Say, an opinion is like an asshole. Everybody has one.
That's
Yes,
right.
sir.
There you go.
Yes, sir.
That's all right.
Very true.
All right, Mr. Quincy Taylor, thank you, sir.
No, thank you. You guys have a good day.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care, buddy.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
See you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.